Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you are watching live, do say hi and pop a comment down so that I know who's joined us. And if you're watching on replay, whether that is on Facebook or whether that is on YouTube, if you have any queries or comments, morning Jeanette, good evening Kerry, then don't hesitate to leave any messages on there and I'll get back to you in due course. If you joined us yesterday or watched yesterday's live on replay later, I created this card, and all of this week we are featuring retiring stamp sets, most of which, the ones that I will be featuring, are discounted. The ones I showed yesterday were discounted 50%, and all of these items are available obviously while stocks last, or up until and including the 2nd of May, because our new catalogue comes live on the 3rd of May, and Stampin' Up need to clear space in the warehouse for all the lovely new products that we have, and so some of these stamp sets will retire and some of those are discounted. The discounts that I'm referring to are here for the UK. They may be different worldwide, so if you're outside of the UK, then do check with your local demonstrator if that discount applies to you. So this was the card I created yesterday, and I also used some of the retiring papers, the lovely expressions in ink paper that's got this gold running through it. So that was the card that we created yesterday. I also used a stamp from the best year, which is retiring as well, a sentiment set, and I added a few champagne dots which are not retiring. Today I thought we would feature animals because there's quite a lot of animal sets and bird sets that are retiring. So I've just pulled a stack from my retiring box. So what I do as a demonstrator when it comes to the end of any particular catalogue is I pull all of those stamp sets off my shelves, and some I may keep if there's something that I want to reuse again, and the rest go into my retire box and may feature later at a retiring sale or a buy one get one free sale. And that just means I clear my shelves ready, and also I'm not showing you products after the end of that catalogue, because there's nothing more frustrating than me showing you something that's no longer available. Obviously, as customers, you can hold on to your stamps as long as you wish and use them for as long as you wish. Hi Lisa, thanks for joining us. So I've picked out some of these and I've just got some screenshots of the prices of these. So the ones that I've picked up, and these aren't all of the ones that are retiring that are animals. So we've got Hey Birthday Chick, and this has some dies that go with it, and it's got this really useful fence but also the words happy birthday, and it's got its own little chick on a die cut as well. I appreciate you can't really see that. And then we have those ones there, so those are retiring. And Hey Birthday Chick, let me just check for you, is £10. So it was £20, it's now £10. And I will check the price of the dies for you as well. We've got Pampered Pets. So these are the cats and the dogs, and these have, sorry, coordinating dies as well. And these are now £12 instead of 20. And then let's see what else. Way to Goat we've got here. This is a fun little set. This is now £14.40 instead of £18. Free as a Bird, you'll have seen me use this a fair bit. This one has been in the catalogue for a little while. This is now £16 and it was £20. So if you're a bird lover, you can make these into, especially these ones, you can make into robins for Christmas if you wish, and some nice sentiments as well. So that's 16. And then Back on Your Feet. This is a great stamp set for just cheering somebody up that's poorly. This is retiring. It was £20 and it's staying at £20, and that indicates to me that there's probably not many of those around, so they're not needing to discount them. Okay, I think that's all of the ones I picked out. So we also have Turtle Friends, which I haven't got here at the moment, and Badger Besties. So I might be featuring those later in the week. So let's open things up and create some cards. So I've got 2 ideas today. Let's see if they work. Oh, hi Kay, thanks for watching. So my 2 ideas are as follows, because I want to get the most out of these and I don't want to create, you know, 6 different cards. So one is I'm going to use the Picture This dies. Now these are going through to the new catalogue, which I'm really pleased about, which means what I can do is pop individual animals into each of those little holes. So the Picture This dies comes in 2 forms. It has these circles, but it also has 3 rectangles. I've chosen the circle ones here, and I've cut a piece of white card that's just going to fit behind, and then what I'm going to do is just choose some of the elements from here and pop them into the hole. So that's going to be one card, and then the other one I'm going to do a slimline card with a line of animals, and no idea at the moment which ones I'm going to use. Oh, morning Linny. Oh, bless you. Lynn's working, she's watching while she's in training, bless her. And this card was actually inspired by a card I saw by a lovely American demonstrator, Diana Gibbs. She's called Stamping with Di, and she had a series of animals running across. I can't remember which one she had, but she created a little scene, and so I thought that's a perfect idea to get plenty of animals on. So it matches our slimline envelopes, which are going through to our new catalogue. These aren't quite DL envelopes, they're slightly shorter. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of soft succulent card, that's the colour, and a piece of white card. So size of the soft succulent card is 9 centimetres by 20.5. Okay, and obviously that's it was 18 originally, and I've scored it in the middle. And I've used soft succulent so I can tie it in with the envelope. And these slimline envelopes have a pattern inside printed, and they come in 3 different colours. Okay, so I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to start with. Let's start with this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pencil to mark around these circles here, and which I will hopefully rub out before we finish the card. So just going to position that on there. I'm not going to stick it down because it hasn't got a lot of room to maneuver, like so. And take my glasses off, and this is Smoky Slate. Oh, a bit carried away there. Okay, best not to use a completely sort of blunt pencil end, but you don't want it too sharp that it's going to scratch the surface. and not be able to rub it out. So I'm just literally circling each of these, and then I'm going to stamp either a character in each one or a sentiment, and you can decide obviously whether you want it that way round or that way round. Don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. I think I'm going to go that way. Well, there probably is a right and a wrong way, but I don't think it's critical. So what I'm looking for is small elements that I can put into here. So we've got one larger circle and two slightly smaller ones. Let me bring that up to the screen so that you can see. Hopefully you can see that. So what I'm looking for is ones that I can put in here. So I've got plenty to choose from. Those are probably going to be too big, and also it's the character there that makes the difference, so I'm going to leave that one out. So I think the chicks would be quite good fun. You could actually make this into an Easter card. But then I've got the cute little goats as well, and the cats. Decisions. Okay, so what I'm going to do for these are both cling stamp sets, is as I use each one of these, I'm going to cover up the rest of the card so that, for example, if I was using this chicken here, and I'd pop the head of the chicken in there, obviously the bottom end of the chicken would be showing through here. So all I'm going to do is just use a post-it note to literally cover the areas around it. You can use a large one or a small one. I happen to have some large ones which are very useful actually for this, because they cover up a whole area at a time, and also it can help me keep this straight. So I'm just going to literally put that one across there. Obviously the areas in between are going to be covered up anyway by that. And I'm pleased to say, and I think I mentioned this before the other day, that we have some new masking tape coming, and these are sheets of masking. So where I'm using a post-it note, obviously only this little bit here is sticky, but we have some masking sheets coming our way in the new catalogue. So I think I'm going to pop this one here, but I haven't really I haven't designed this in any way, shape or form, as you might gather. I'm just going to go with the flow. So I'm going to use Early Espresso for this one. Now, just wondering, because if I wanted this one with the cake, that circle is actually a little bit bigger. So I'm going to change my mind and use that one in here, like so. Okay, so let's give this a go. So I hope everybody's well. I'm here Tuesday morning. I'm normally here on a Tuesday evening, but I have a team meeting this evening, so that is why I've switched out to a Tuesday morning. Okay, now I know that this is fairly straight. I know that that is covered up. I want my cake, so I'm going to make this a birthday card. Should be in there. Let's give it a go. Okay, so there's my first addition, and if I put this back in, you can see how that's going to work, like so. Okay, now I can do my other chicken. I'm going to leave these here for a minute. And I think I'll have him down there. So for this one, I'm just going to cover this little bit in case. And I know that I'm not going to go any higher, so I don't need to cover that bit up. But if you were unsure, you could cover everything else up if you wanted to. And so this is from the dies, but you could create your own template. If you've got a die cutting machine or punches, you could create your own version of that if you wanted to. Right, so here's our chicken going in there. There's that one. Okay, and then I've got this one here. And I could use something different, but I think I'm going to pop this fun little guy in there because he would just about fit all together. And then I'll decide what I'm going to put in these little ones here. So you could just put a pattern, you could put some patterned paper. There's lots of different things you could do with that. Let's just grab a smaller block for that. And he sort of stands on one leg with his leg out the side. And obviously you could put sentiments in the larger ones if you wanted to. So I know this is fairly straight. Try not to knock the camera. There we go. Okay, so let's see what else I can pop it in. Let's reveal those. Okay, so I've got 3 filled in and I've got 3 little ones. Just to show you how that's going to look. Like so. Hi Jane, thanks for joining us. This has got, I got you a cake, but I ate it. That would, I got you a cake would fit in there, but I ate it across the bottom, but I think it's a little bit, doesn't really tie it all together. So let us see what else you can pop in. So this has got little streamers and things like that. Let's see what else I've got on these pieces here. So I've got 2 cute little butterflies. They would definitely work. And I've got flowers on Free as a Bird. So the butterflies would be quite cute. Oh, and I've got hearts as well. So it's always worth checking your stamp sets for other things that you can use from other sets. I could use this little flower. There we go. So I've got 3 small stamps, and it's amazing how much the small stamps can make a difference to a card. Okay, so let's take this away. And I'm just going to leave that on there because these should all fit just about inside my circles. So I'm going to stamp those and then just colour those all in. Oops. Okay. Now I just want to try this and see that it will fit in. those circles. Yes, it does. Okay, that's fine. If not, I was going to stamp it off and just have one butterfly, but as they'll all fit in, that's perfect. Have them around the right way, I think. Take my glasses off to see. Okay, so there's my butterflies in there. So in case anybody didn't catch us from the start, I'm using our retiring animal stamp sets, not all of them, some of them, and creating some cards using those. And all but one of these that I've used are discounted as well. So I'll pop a post after here with the discounted amounts in, so you don't have to scroll back and find them again. Okay, so just using the post-it note to mask off the open areas that will be seen, and that is then going to go onto there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub out my lines first, just in case I don't line that up completely, and then colour that in very quickly. Let me grab my nice rubber so I can do that. Sorry, just looking for my tin. Here it is. This is my first aid tin, and it's human first aid and stamping first aid. And this goes with me to coffee and card, and it consists of plasters in case anybody cuts their fingers, adhesive remover to remove any excess glue, sand eraser for removing extra bits of ink that have gone where they shouldn't do, and then a decent pencil eraser. And I keep all of those, and they travel with me when I go to coffee and card and classes. So that's my first aid kit. Okay, so I'm just going to rub these lines out, and you really do want to make sure you've got a good quality rubber for this. You don't want to be using the children or grandchildren's rubber that's covered in all sorts. You can use obviously a pencil eraser if you've got one on the end of your pencil, but just make sure it's a good quality and it's not hasn't got dirty, otherwise you'll be adding dirt, not taking away your pencil line. Okay, and the last one there. So these chickens are from Hey Birthday Chick, and they do have dies to match to cut them out. The flowers from Free as a Bird, and the butterflies were from Pampered Pets, as was the hearts. Okay, that will do. And I'm just quickly going to colour some of those in. I don't want to spend too long doing that for you. Let's just use some crumb cake for the chicken with a little bit of orange. I need to take my glasses off. So there's a bit of pumpkin pie on there. We've got this little bit underneath here. I'm going to use Poppy Parade for that. It is quite small, you're not really going to see a great deal of it. And the beak here. And while I'm at it, let's see how much of that I'm going to see. Just the right hand side. Like that. There we go. Rather funky hair. Beak. Now all of this little chicken is seen. There we go. I'll do those in some yellows, I think. Let's do this. Like so. So that's pumpkin pie. And I've got a light one. And some yellows. There we go. Like that. Okay, so let's quickly do the chicken. And I know really that it's only sort of up to there, so this is dark crumb cake. So, and light crumb cake. So these are our blends pens, our alcohol markers. And they come in most of, not all, of our individual colours, and you buy these coloured ones in a set of 2. You get a light and a dark for each one. Let's just double check on that, see how much more I need to do. Don't want to do more than I need. Let's just do this bit down here. So if you've got any budding artists in your family, these alcohol markers are perfect for blending and colouring. Okay, right, let's do our little chick here popping out. This is Daffodil Delight. And there, let's give him a yellow hat. And just a light egg. Like that. I'm not doing a huge amount of blending and colouring. I don't think it really needs it for this because you've only got a small amount that you're seeing. Just add that on there. Go. That's that one. Let's have some yellow icing for the cake. Got to be lemon cake, isn't it, really? There we go. And then let's just add the flowers. This dark Daffodil Delight. Butterflies. Right. Okay, I think we're done. Oh, and little hearts. One, two, like so. Okay, let's see how that looks. So this is our panel here. So, okay, just need to do a little bit more of that chicken and that little foot there. The reason why I didn't leave the pencil marks, because I could have done for positioning, was that it's difficult once you've covered it with our blends pens. It's covered up, so you can't remove the pencil line because it's covered over. There we go. Just do the right end of this foot. There we are. So there's our finished insert like that. So all I'm going to do is put some glue on the reverse of here and then position that on there. Now if I had more time I'd probably change the colour of this away from grey, but I think it'll do the job for now. We don't need to stop and wait and do that. So let me find some glue and pop that down. So this die, as I say, is called Picture This, and it has two dies, perfect for this sort of layout. But let's make sure I've gluing the right side. But you could, as I say, create your own if you've got circle dies or a punch with circles. Obviously you can only get in so far, so all I'm doing is going around these edges. I'm not worrying about the very edges because this is going to go onto another card, like so. I just want a nice firm connection between these. Okay, so I'm just going to use so I'm just taking my time to position that, and it doesn't matter if it's not exact. Hopefully, yeah, it's not far off my original design. Okay, and that is going to go onto a backing card. Let's see, I have got some basic grey. Make a nice a man's card, wouldn't it, or a young boy's card. Quite like that with the grey, so either that or no, I'm going to stick with the grey, and then I will pop an inner in it later. I won't do that now. Make sure I've got this the right way round. So there's my 21. This is going to be 14.85. scored at 10.5. Okay, so there is our first card featuring mostly the chicks from Hey Chick. Now I could have that slightly high and pop a sentiment underneath, but what I'm going to do is just centralise that on there. I could cut it a little bit, I suppose. Maybe I'll do that. Because the picture of this die is fitted to an American card, and their cards are slightly different size to ours. So just doing that by eye really. Just going to trim that down a little bit. There we go. That's going to go onto there. And I can either put that flat or I can pop it up on dimensionals. I think I'm just going to put it flat. There we go, so that's card number 1. So just centralising that on my card, which I have trimmed down very slightly. And you could put a happy birthday on a piece of card and pop it across there, or for you, whatever you wanted. I'll leave that for the minute and I'll decide what sentiment to add to it. So that is one. And then let's quickly do this one, which is going to be my scene. So I think what I'm going to do is start by adding some grass across the bottom, because you knew that wasn't going to fit, didn't you? Hello, Tracy. That's the one we've just made, Tracy. So I'm just using up retiring animal stamp sets today. And let's use a green blending brush. Let's grab a piece of grid paper. So this is just going to be my base. And I'm just seeing if there's any ink left on there. You don't need to over ink the blending brushes. I think I can get away with a little bit more. So I've got, this is Pear Pizzazz, that will do nicely. I hope you're well, Tracy, and the rest of the family. And I've actually got this fairly straight, but I could have torn a bit more of a line, but never mind, it will do. It'll give me a edge to work on. There we go. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Will you be joining us tonight, Tracy, with Lisa? Okay, let's have a look. So there's my bit of ground, like so. Oh, it's leaning. We're on a slight hill here, and this on the goat, it's got this little bit of sort of shading, so I'm going to use that little stamp to add a bit of detail. So I'm just doing it. Oh, that's fine, Tracy. I did think, well, it's a long way for you to come anyway, plus with the old petrol shortages and having had COVID, so that's fully understandable, Tracy. Okay, so just adding that bit of detail in there, like so. Okay, and let's see, so I will add some sky and details later, but let's see what animals we can have. We can have a maybe a line of them. So I've got these goats that would work really well. I'm not sure they're going to go with the dog, although you could have a dog there, couldn't you? But let's have a bit of fun with the goats. See if they're going to fit. So we've got one there. We've got our dancing goat. And our standing goat. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp these and then I might add some flowers or something in between. And you could stamp these easily in basic grey if you wanted for a different look, depending on what colour you would like your goats to be. So there's one there. And this one dancing. So putting those two close together. And then this one here. Maybe a little bit further away. Perhaps he doesn't want to be associated with the others. What do you think? Okay. Okay. Just making sure I'm getting the front and the back feet on the grass. Right, now let's see what we've got. So we've got You're the Goat, Greatest of All Time. I got your cake but I ate it. Wait a Goat. We've got some cans. I think I'm going to put some flowers and things in between. You're the Goat, Greatest of All Time. Let's put that on there. That's that one. So just going to ink that up, just stamping it straight on there to see how straight it is, and it is in fact fairly straight. There's that one there. And then I'm just going to add some flowers and things in between. Let's just see what I can grab. Oops. So we've got tulips from Flowering Rainbow. It's a little bit big, but that would have been a good option. Oh, I've just found turtle friends. continue waiting. I'm just trying to find the right sort of size that would work. Let's go for, on the horizon, has got these sort of, yeah, that would definitely do. So I might need to mask a little bit of that off, or use a pen to highlight it. I could mask that goat off. I was trying to avoid too much time for you. See if I can find something any smaller. Sorry. Now I'm going to stick with on the horizon. And I'm going to pop it into there. So let's ink this up. It's got some greeny on it from last time. Just clean that off. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up, but I'm going to stop it about here. So I'm going to turn this over, actually, yeah. Yes, I don't want it in espresso. Oh dear. Right, here we go. Let's try that in Pear Pizzazz. Okay, so like that. Let's see what that looks like, just stamped as is. Yeah, that works because it's quite scratchy, for want of a better description. It doesn't matter that it stops quite abruptly. There we go. And then I can do the same here on this side without having to worry about any edges. And then this one, actually I'm going to clean off and just do a little bit of it. So thank you for staying with me. If you stayed here this long, it's appreciated. So let's do just that little bit there, and then I want just a little bit in there. So another way to do this, rather than just inking up small portions, is you could use a pen, and it will need to be a Stampin' Right marker, and just highlight the areas that you wanted. Just going to do this very end. In there. Got that little bit of detail going on in there, and I can add some more. Now I've got that sort of scene placed, I can add some more with my blending brush, like so. So this is Pear Pizzazz. It's slightly lighter than Granny Apple Green, a little bit softer. Go. So this is Way to Goat. That's the name of the stamp set. There we are. And I'm just going to use that. Sort of shadow underneath each of those. There we are. Okay, so the last two things I need to do, one is add some blue for the sky. Got my blue pen, my blue blending brush here, and I suspect there's probably enough on there. There is indeed. Just to go in between the goats. Oh, bless you, Kerry. Okay, and obviously you could make that quite a bit darker. I'm just going to leave it fairly light, just with a hint. Like that. Alright, so this is all going to go onto here, like so. And then I'm just going to colour the goats in. The goats come in all sorts of different colours, don't they? So you have white goats, you have grey goats, brown goats. I'm just going to do a little bit of smoky slate on this one. And we're done. So just adding a little bit in where that fur is indicated, like so. Go. And the rest I'll go in light smoky slate. So just using a circular motion to blend it all in and doing it fairly quickly. As you can see, this isn't a masterclass in colouring in any way, shape or form. There we go. So we've got one. Let's add a bit of orange for the flower. And then little peckled pink here on the eyes, on the side of the ears, and same here. Can have light horns for these two. I'll see the younger ones. Might do this one in crumb cake. So thank you so much if you're still with me. I don't normally go on more than an hour. But I hope you've enjoyed it, that's the main thing. Even if you've only joined me for part of it, I always appreciate it. That's that one. And then this is light crumb cake, and I'm using the broader nib only because I want to cover a bigger area. This would be a good one for one of my nephews. And in fact it's the 12th of April, which is my youngest great niece's birthday. There we go. And then I feel this needs to be slightly different, so let's do this one, grey granite, which is like a browny grey, so let's sort of put the two together. And I've got dark here, oh thank you Jeanette. Now I was going to put this on. No, I think I will because it's still quite a warm colour. Otherwise I could put it on the grey. I don't know if it's smoky slate or grey granite, I'm not sure. Okay, there's the dark. So, and then light grey granite. I might leave that. There we go. Oh, I haven't done the legs. Should do those in dark. And that is it. So all that is left is for me to mount that up. Like so. And just deliberate on that colour choice, because it is a different green, but I think it works okay. And I will put an inner on that as well, but just for the purposes of our video, I'm just going to stick that on like so. I've got a 1/2 centimetre border in total, so that's about 2.5 millimeters all the way around. There we go. Could add some birds or something in there, but I think that works quite sweet just as it is, really. Oh, missed a tiny bit there. And there we go. So I will put the prices of these stamp sets and their item numbers in the description underneath the video in the comments section. So if you want to look those up, do. So that's the Way to Goat stamp set. This one here, hope you can see that. And then this one was using the Hey Birthday Chick and the Picture This frame. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. A little bit longer than I intended, so it's definitely time for a cup of coffee for me now. Thank you, Lisa. I can't believe you're still here watching. I really appreciate that. My lives, as you know, don't normally go on quite that long. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 AM for some more cards. So I might well do some more animal themed cards for Wednesday. And then we'll have something different, maybe, or maybe we'll do mail cards tomorrow. Thanks, Tracy. And then see how we go for Thursday. Okay, thank you so much. My camera is definitely at an angle because that doesn't look straight. It looks slightly lopsided, so I do apologise for that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Do take care, look after yourselves and your loved ones. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you can keep crafting. Bye for now.